The alarm rang at 6 a.m. sharp, slicing through the quiet like a warning. Even had learned to ignore. The screen glowed on his nightstand, 6 a.m. He didn't open his eyes. His hand moved on instinct, fumbling across the word until his fingers found the phone. One tap, silence. Not because he was exhausted, not because he had stayed up working late, but because deep down he believed something comforting. I still have time. He rolled onto his side, pulling the blanket up to his chin, wrapping himself in warmth. The morning light slipped through the gap in the curtains, but he turned away from it, and just like every other morning, he said quietly the promise that had followed him for years: I will start tomorrow. At 23, even carried dreams heavier than most people twice his age. He didn't want a small life. He didn't want to move slowly. He wanted a career that meant something, work that gave him respect, a future that looked impressive from the outside and felt solid on the inside. He thought of moments that hadn't happened yet, people leaning it, asking, how did you build this? Old classmates scrolling past his name and pausing. Family members nodded quietly, proud, but pretending they would always known. Motivation gave him energy. Videos played in the background while he ate. Quotes filled his phone gallery. The screenshots of routines, habits, and productivity frameworks collected like evidence of a life he planned to live. His imagination was disciplined, but his actions were not, because when it was time to do the hard thing, he paused. Tomorrow felt safer than today. Tomorrow didn't require courage. Tomorrow never failed. Even wasn't lazy in the way people often describe laziness. He paid his bills. He showed up when expected. He met deadlines when the pressure was real. He did just enough to survive, but he always avoided discomfort. He avoided starting from before he felt ready. He avoided effort that didn't reward him immediately. He avoided work that went unnoticed and didn't get praise. And most of all, he avoided being bad at something new. Failing wasn't the issue, trying and looking foolish was. Every morning followed the same pattern. He sat at his desk with his laptop open, the blue glow reflecting faintly in his third eyes. Tabs lined the top of the screen, online courses, half-written plans, articles bookmarked for later. Later never came. His notebook lay open beside him, pages filled with neat handwriting, goals broken into steps, timelines carefully designed. Everything looked impressive, except for one thing. Nothing he planned ever moved beyond the first page. One night, rain dropped softly against the window, steady and patient, the kind of rain that made the world feel paused. Evan leaned back in his chair and stared at the dark screen of his laptop after closing it. His reflection stared back, blurred, uncertain. The room was quiet, too quiet. No notifications, no voices, no distractions left to hide behind. That's when question came up, not loudly, not dramatically, just a simple, uncomfortable thought he had avoided for years. What if ambition alone isn't enough? The idea bothered him because ambition had always been his shield. As long as he wanted something badly enough, he could forgive himself for not having it yet. But what if wanting wasn't proof of potential? What if it was just another excuse? A week later, Evan visited his grandfather. The old man lived in a small house at the edge of the town where time moved slower and nothing tried to impress anyone. The air inside smelled of strong tea and wallpaper. Books lined the shelves, not decorative but worn. The walls were empty, with just one photograph. His grandfather is a young man standing beside a small workshop, sleeves rolled up, hands dirty, eyes focused. You still dreaming big? His grandfather asked, pouring tea into chipped cups. Evan smiled automatically. Always. The old man nodded but didn't smile back. Instead, he said quietly, "And what are you building?" The question landed heavier than even expected. He opened his mouth, paused, closed it again. "I am preparing," he said finally. His grandfather studied him for a long moment, then stood without a word and walked into the workshop. When he returned, he held a small wooden clock, unfinished. The gears were visible, some polished smooth by time, others were rough and untouched. "I started this 40 years ago," his grandfather said, even blinked. "You never finished it?" The old man smiled, not sadly, not gratefully, just honestly. "I kept waiting until I felt ready." The room felt suddenly smaller. "Ambition," his grandfather continued, setting the cloak gently on the table, "is direction. But moment is what gets you there. Without moment, direction doesn't matter." The words stayed. They didn't shout, they didn't motivate, they settled. That night, even didn't sleep much. He replayed moments from his life like scenes from a quiet film. Plans he never executed, skills he never practiced long enough to be bad at, dreams he protected by never testing. He realized something uncomfortable. He had been confusing thinking about effort without doing effort, and thinking felt safer. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Even didn't wake up early. He didn't feel inspired. He didn't create a flawless routine. He simply sat down, opened one document, wrote one sentence, and stopped. It felt almost embarrassing. One sentence didn't feel like progress. It didn't match the size of his ambition. It didn't earn him anything, but it was real. The next day, he added another sentence, then another. Some days he stopped early, some days he skipped entirely, but something had changed. He stopped fooling himself into thinking waiting was moving forward. Weeks passed. The work didn't feel magical. It felt ordinary, sometimes boring, sometimes frustrating, but it existed. And slowly, quietly, even noticed something strange. His ambition grew, quieter but stronger. It no longer screamed about the future, it whispered instructions for today. There were days when laziness pulled at him, still moments when tomorrow tempted him with comfort. But now he recognized the pattern. Laziness didn't ask for permission, it simply waited for delay. Action, on the other hand, demanded attention, not motivation, not confidence, just choice. Months later, even sat at the same desk where he once avoided starting. The notebook was worn now, the desk messier, the laptop filled with work that actually existed. Nothing in his life seemed special, not yet, but it was moving, and moment he realized changes everything. Personal. As I reflect on this story, it reminds me that dreaming without doing isn't true potential. It's just procrastination, pretending to be hope. If you feel ambitious but lazy, it doesn't mean you lack discipline. It means you are waiting for a feeling that never comes. Start small, start imperfect, start now, because ambition doesn't die from failure, it dies from delay.